The dreaded Daleks have met their final end on more than one occasion. Will the Time Lord ever be free of his deadliest enemies? Let's take a look at all the times the metal mutants have been seemingly beaten forever. 1. The Daleks. In the very first Dalek story from 1963 quarter, the metal mutants were, apparently, the sole survivors on the war-torn planet of Skaro, apart from their biggest enemies, the Tals. Most of their homeworld had been decimated in a nuclear war, and the Dalek creatures had mutated and retreated into their tank-like shells in order to survive. They all lived inside an elaborate city and were powered by static electricity, which was transmitted through the floor. In this adventure, the Doctor defeated the Daleks by wiping out their power supply, leaving them helpless and immobile. And since these were seemingly the only Daleks in existence, they were gone forever, leaving the Tals to live peacefully on Skaro. Of course, due to the monster's explosive popularity, it wouldn't be long before they burst back onto our screens. But their next adventure, the Dalek invasion of Earth, was in fact a prequel, so it didn't affect the outcome of their debut story. 2. The Evil of the Daleks. By the time the Evil of the Daleks was transmitted in 1967, the popularity of the metal mutants was global, and their creator, Terry Nation, who shared the copyright with the BBC, was attempting to give his creations their own spin-off series in the United States. This meant that the Daleks would have to depart from the world of Doctor Who, perhaps forever, and the BBC planned ahead by having the entire race wiped out at the end of this story. Indeed, the Doctor even dubs it a final end, as the Daleks descend into something of a civil war and exterminate each other. And if the evil of the Daleks had indeed turned out to be their last adventure, then it would have been a good one. In the story, the Doctor's old enemies are trying to identify what they call the human factor, the unique qualities of human beings that allow them to defeat the Daleks. To do this, they create a space-time link between Skaro and Victorian London, using the pathway to kidnap humans for experimentation. But as we all know, this wasn't the last hurrah for the metal mutants. Although they were absent for 5 years, they did finally return during the John Pertwee era for 1972's The Day of the Daleks, albeit with slightly unusual voices. They would make 3 further appearances during his tenure in Frontier in Space, Planet of the Daleks, and Death to the Daleks. 3. The Whovian War. In the late 70s, Terry Nation introduced a new foe for his creations in the shape of the android Whovians. Although they have only featured in one story, apart from a brief appearance during the Peter Capaldi era, they played a significant role in the Daleks' history in that they were responsible for their almost complete annihilation during the 1980s. This encounter happened off-screen, however, and we only learnt about it during 1984's Resurrection of the Daleks, when the last survivors went in search of their creator Davros in the hopes of salvation. Apparently, the Whovians had manufactured a virus which was deadly to the metal mutants and wiped out virtually the entire race. By the time the 1984 story was broadcast, there were only a few Daleks left in existence, but they were undeterred. Together with Davros, they planned to rebuild their army and invade Gallifrey, using a clone of the Doctor and his companions to assassinate the members of the High Council. This plan came to nothing, although there are a number of survivors at the story's conclusion, most of them duplicates. The Doctor insists that these clones are unstable and will be quickly defeated, but he nonetheless warns Earth's authorities of the potential threat. And as for the metal mutants' plan to attack Gallifrey, this was a plot point that would prove to be prophetic. 4. The Time War. Much of the Time War happened off-screen. The battle was primarily between the Time Lords and the Daleks, but it quickly spread to the wider universe, invisible to smaller species, yet devastating to higher forms. As the Gelth once put it, ultimately, the Doctor was the only one who could end it all, and Series 1 establishes that he was the sole survivor of the Time War. In the beginning, at least, because the Doctor soon learns that some Daleks survived survived too. He encounters one of them in 2005's Dalek by Robert Shearman, followed by the Dalek Emperor himself in The Parting of the Ways, who has been secretly rebuilding his army using human DNA. This army is defeated by Rose Tyler, who uses the power of the time vortex to reduce them to atoms. But there are yet more Daleks hiding in the cosmos in a mysterious vessel known as a void sphere, which has the ability to travel between universes. This is the cult of Skaro, and they have possession of something called a Genesis Ark, which can only be opened by the touch of a time traveler. This transpires to be a Dalek prison ship, which contains thousands of the metal mutants. Ultimately, this band of prisoners is banished into the void, but one member of the cult of Skaro survives and travels back in time to the 1930s, where he, once again, attempts to build a new army using human DNA. This was 2007, though, and the Daleks have appeared many times since then. Although they have yet to be as completely defeated as they were in the Time War, the Daleks are still out there somewhere, and they have not yet encountered Nshuti Gatwa's doctor. Could 2025 be the year of their return? We'll have to wait and see. In the meantime, can you think of any other occasions where the Daleks have been seemingly destroyed forever? Let us know in the comments below.
This is my favourite Doctor Who merch thing basically of the year, I think. So it's the Lavalzi 13 inspired...
Sorry, I just covered you up.
13 inspired scarf. It's just so lovely.
What's lovely about this is that it's not an exact replica of her scarf, which I actually think for me would have been a too bright a scarf anyway.
It's a bit more muted.
So it's more muted, but the stripes are exactly pretty much the same as the stripes on her shirt. So it's like her shirt as a scarf, but she already has a scarf that's quite similar to this as well.
It's really soft, it's really lightweight. It's one of those scarves that you
it
can
keeps
like
me so
wind
warm.
round a few times.
The brand and repping my love for Doctor Who without being over the top, or like
Cozy chic.
if I'm walking around the office, people might not necessarily know that it's Doctor Who. Fashion. So this is, I think, $24.99 from Lavalzi, so not crazy expensive, I think, compared to like maybe like the Tom Baker scarves.
Well, like the Paul Smith scarf, for example, that Jodie actually wears is about £80.
Yeah, ridiculous.
Something like that. So if you just want
incredible.
like a day-to-day lovely scarf, the quality of the Lavalzi one is really lovely.
It's just such a good, like, I think it's honestly, like you said, probably one of my favourite pieces as well, because it's like properly curated, like fam piece. It's not like a replica or a sort of tacky bit of merch.
Yeah, it's like a new bit of merch.
It's just really nice. I really like it. So this, I think on the website, is called the Doctor Who laptop bag, but I actually use it as like a travel bag because I don't know if you can see, but it's really quite big.
Quite substantial.
So I take overnight stuff in this. Like I brought all my stuff here with my laptop and some books, some clothes and stuff here to Kez's. If I go to my mum's, I'll take all my stuff in it. If it's a laptop and much more. It's really nice. It does come with a long strap, which I don't actually use, and it's at home. But
you can pop it on your shoulder, or you can have it in the crook of your arm, something similar.
Like fashion, darling.
Yes. It's got a nice zip at the front. I mean, I'm just showing the fact that it has a zip. It has another zip for the main bit. Fancy that.
Inside, it's got a total of 1, 2, 3 pockets, 3 pen holders, which I had not noticed, and also straps inside. Oh no, there's one massive pocket. What's this for?
I think that's for the laptop.
Oh my god, there's like an actual pocket for the laptop. Oh my gosh.
It might also be good if you go to the gym. Like it would be a
Yeah,
good
it'd be
gym
a great gym bag.
or something similar
Yeah,
like that.
I agree.
But yeah, definitely for like overnight stuff. Like if you're going for a weekend away or just staying with family or something.
Yes, I really like it. I think it's a lovely gift for if you want to get someone a bigger present, or if you want it for yourself, just like if you need a new bag.
There's a nice variation of things here with things that are more kind of gifty, and then actually what if your friend actually needs a scarf or a bag or a purse or something similar.
It's something that they will use as opposed to like something that's maybe a bit, not tacky, but like maybe something they wouldn't use. Do you know what I mean? Like if there's only so many TARDISes you can do.